Recently, I, a 48-year-old man, went to help my mother clear out her house. It took weeks. She's a hoarder, and to give you an idea of what that means, she had around 6 drawers full of unused soap bars. When I asked why she had so many, her only response was, "Just in case I needed them." I'm her only remaining family, as I was an only child. My father, her husband, passed away from cancer at a young age, and all her siblings or relatives are either dead or not in our country. So, a few months ago, I made the difficult decision to place her in a nursing home. The final room I had to clear out was the attic, and when I say it was full of boxes, I mean it was packed. It took me about 5 hours to sort through everything, and 95% of the books I found went straight into a donation bag. When I got to the last box, it felt like a miracle. I was prepared to just toss the whole thing into the donation pile, but I'm glad I didn't. Though most days I regret it. I found an old, tattered notebook that looked like it would disintegrate if I touched it. I dusted it off, expecting to find a photo album or something similar, but instead, I found a journal. The handwriting was messy and didn't belong to either my mother or my father. I assumed my mom picked it up at one of the church sales she loved attending, but after reading a few pages, I wasn't so sure. This book has haunted my nightmares. Whenever I close my eyes, I visualize the things I've read in that notebook. Despite my fear, it would be pointless to make this post without sharing some of the entries, so here they are. June 26, 1978. I don't understand why it's so morally wrong to kill someone. People just don't get the thrill of it. It's like taking a drug. The first dose is the best thing imaginable. The second, the third, or any time after that can't live up to that first hit. So many people say, don't knock it till you try it. So why do people immediately shame murderers? I have a theory that if everyone tried it once, they'd understand the righteousness of it. Having someone under your hands, watching as their face shifts from shock to fear, to anger, to desperation, and finally to despair. Seeing the life drain from their eyes, being the last face they see as you crush their windpipes. The small gurgle from the back of their throat as they attempt their final breath is almost orgasmic. July 3rd, 1978. I still remember my first kill like it was yesterday. It was an accident, sure, but it was still as incredible as if I'd intended to do it. I was 10, and my mom had just asked me to watch the baby while she went to the bathroom. I didn't have a choice. When you're asked to do something, it's not really a request. So, I agreed. I sat on the stool she had been using and watched as the babbling baby splashed in the water. That thing hated me. Every time it looked at me, it would cry, as if it knew what I was. This time was no different. As soon as it noticed its sweet mommy was gone, it screamed at the top of its lungs, wailing like a banshee. It was like it wanted to destroy my eardrums. To make it stop, I grabbed its little head and shoved it under the water. I was always told that staying underwater too long was bad, but I was never taught why. Its screams turned into bubbles, and all was quiet until the bubbles stopped. Then a new scream replaced it, my mother's. I removed my hand as she screamed at me, asking what I'd done. I watched as she took the rag doll of flesh out of the bathtub, trying to revive it. I knew I had messed up. I immediately brought out the crocodile tears, explaining between sobs that it was an accident, that the baby had put its head under, and I was trying to bring it back up. But that feeling I had as I watched its body go limp was one I would never forget. That's just a glimpse of the notebook. I'll spare you the rest, as those were some of the tamer entries. I have no idea what to do with this notebook. Throwing it away or donating it and letting someone else read those horrors feels wrong. Keeping it and trying to forget about it seems impossible. Handing it to the police is useless due to how long ago it was. My main thought right now is to burn it, but I'm unsure. For now, the book just sits on my nightstand, taunting me. No matter where I put it in the house, it feels like it's mocking me, laughing because I am now the unlucky owner of those gruesome pages.